Hey guys, how's it going? My name's MKid75. Welcome back to another video. Um, as you can tell by the title, this video is one that I didn't want to make. One that I didn't think I'd have to make, but it's tough to talk about. I've recently been going through a lot of struggles and whatnot with life, and shit recently just kind of hit the fan, and none of the stars align right now, and it's just things are heavy right now, and it's affecting me a lot mentally, and I do have mild depression. It's something that I've had for a while, and I know it's hard to tell that I do have it, especially when I'm streaming, especially when I'm like happy a lot and can fake a smile or seem that I'm overjoyed, seem like I don't have all these mental problems and whatnot. And just the simple fact of it is that I do. And I guess we could go a little bit more in depth about that. I have a lot of trouble kind of, I guess, taking care of myself, making myself priority number one. Um, and I guess that's kind of, I don't know if that's the root of my depression or if that's something that I just need to work on. But keeping my apartment cleaned, making sure that I have food in the house, getting to work on time. It's all been problematic for me for a while. And, it's not to say that I'm not a good person, because I know I am. I know I've got a good heart and whatnot, and that kind of thing. It's just that I've never valued myself at number one. I've never really thought of myself as being number one priority. I've always thought of other people over me. I've always thought, I'm not going to worry about me. I'd rather worry about person number over there. Make sure they're okay before I'm okay. Make sure that, they're fine and whatnot. And I guess it's kind of burned me in the long run, but it's also helped out a lot of people. So I do feel good about that, at least. Another thing is with the way God damn, the way I think mentally is that I have troubles coping with guilt and disappointing people. And what I mean by that is when I disappoint people, I usually feel guilty, or I feel, like I let down somebody, which is never a good feeling. But my mentality takes that to an unfathomable step. It's like, you fucked up. You suck. I drag myself down so low when I disappoint somebody. Or if I have a guilty conscience, if I feel guilty about something, I go almost to a suicidal state. And I feel, like the last the non-option, the thing about, why that number's there, why I support this right here, why this is here. I feel like there's nothing in the world that I can do to resolve my guilt problem, and I feel, like nothing. I feel like my human existence shouldn't matter. Like, I don't matter. Like, no one should care about me. and I have contemplated suicide in the past. And it's just how my brain is wired. It tends to wire itself when I feel extremely over the top guilty. And it's not the right mentality to ever have. It's not. And I know it's not, but when you're in the moment, when I'm in that moment thinking of that, I'm at my lowest. And crawling out of my lowest position is a fucking struggle. It's the goddamn worst. Because I'm in tears. I'm a flippin' mess. I'm thinking about every fucking opportunity to take myself out of life. I'm thinking, Jimmy, you're not worth it. Go fucking jump off a bridge. Go do something that is going to resolve your mental capacity for not wanting to be in life. That's how I feel when I'm down a guilt trip or when I disappoint somebody. And that's not right to have that feelings, but that's just the way my mentality is set up. And I've had instances where I've gone so far into that mentality that my body's just completely shuts down. Like, it's a full-on body shutdown. I stress myself out to the point where I knock out. Like, I literally pass out due to stress and anxiety and depression. But that's only when I'm, like, in that guilt trip type of mood. But other ways that, you know, depression affects me is that I don't like being social. I'm kind of a hermit. I don't like going out and about unless I really have to. I'm a homebody, which is common, but I don't like making the effort to go out unless, you know, I'm with Hammer Hazard or GIF or Jake or, you know, somebody like that. I just don't like going out in crowds and whatnot, and I don't know, social anxiety or something like that, and this, that, and the other thing. And yeah, it sucks, but I'm going off on a tangent here from away from the point of the video. Let me fucking bring this back. Right. So, another thing that happened to me recently was my truck's ankle broke, I call it. Its tire basically fell off the ball joint and master control arm just went, and that was that. The front right tire just kind of decided to say, I'm done. And the truck's been reliable for the past 19 years. It's a Southern truck, so it's going to have that reliability. But I've tried looking into, you know, a new car and a new lease, but shit's so fucking expensive. And, you know, what I make for a living, with the cost of living, with the cost of, you know, food and gas and rent and insurance, utility bills, internet bills, all this shit, it puts me on a tight rope at the end of the month. So, you know, going into a lease for a car isn't feasible, isn't possible for me. And going off on that financial subject, I can't go back to school because of that. And it's something that's important, is going back to school, you know, at least taking one class at a time. Even with, you know, something like financial aid, it's just not possible. which sucks. You know, because I want to go back to school. I want to be able to say, hey, I'm in class now, you know, and shit like that. So that's another problem that I have that I just have to fix. Streaming to me has always been an escape from, you know, reality and whatnot. And it's always been my go-to thing for entertainment, if it's not music or guitars. You know, because I love playing video games. I love streaming for people, making it also their escape from life, from whatever problems they have going on in life. But with what I've going on now, I just don't see it possible for me to stream for the foreseeable future. It sucks because I love streaming. I love, you know, getting on every day and saying hi to people around the world and whatnot. And, you know, I've done this once before where I've had a complete mental, like, shit. And it happened earlier this year. And it was because of my former girlfriend leaving me and life buckling on me then. Which, in all honesty, I shouldn't have stopped content creating just because of that, but I did. But now isn't like then. Now is more or less of, I need to take care of myself. I need to find out what I want to do in life. I need to focus on me, more or less. Which is going to be an absolute struggle to do because I've never been too keen on wanting to focus on just me. You know, because I find that a selfish thing to do. And I know people advocate, you know, self-care isn't bad. This, that, and the other thing. I don't know why I find that to be a selfish thing. I guess it's just a matter of me always wanting to take care of someone else. Me wanting to be there for someone else kind of blocks that, hey, you need to take care of yourself, Jimmy. You need to be there for yourself. Your priority number one. I guess that's never ever stuck in my head. That's never been a thing in my head where I wanted to focus on myself, and I don't know how it's gonna work with me. I mean, it's not to say that I don't have good days or bad days. My good days are good days, you know. They go more or less like, oh, I'm feeling happy today. I feel like dancing. I feel like playing guitar. I feel like socializing, streaming, content creating, all this good stuff. But I do have those mild and bad days where it's just like, I want to go home and die. You know, I stress myself out. I don't eat. I don't do a lot to help myself mentally on those bad days. You know, on those bad days, you know, if I'm at work, I struggle through the day. I pass out during work. I get home. I pass out again. I pass out not even eating dinner. I wake up at 2 in the morning, knowing that I have to go to work the next day. I don't know, you know, I just don't eat. And that's a problem for me. Is that what I just said. I just don't. I just don't know. And I think that's something that I have to figure out, is knowing. Knowing. I guess I established the first step, which is know the problem, and I know the problems. I guess step number 2 is try to figure something out about it. Is try to become a better version of me, try to, you know, get mentally unfucked up here, which is a hard thing to do, knowing that I've been mentally fucked for a while now. I've always had the guilt problem. I've always had problems being complacent. I've always had problems that don't add up to what they need to add up to. You know, I've never fucking had a time in my life where it's just been like, oh my god, a moment of clarity. Oh my god, Jimmy, you're doing great for yourself. Oh, look at you. You're doing stellar. No, it's always 1 minute, Jimmy, you're doing awesome. The next, Jimmy, what the fuck's the matter with you? I've been inconsistent my whole life. I've been inconsistent, and I've been lazy about fixing the problem. I've been unknowledgeable about fixing the problem. I don't know how to fix the problem. I don't know how to fix the problem. And I've always tried to fix it myself. Always tried to, you know, try my best to fix it myself. And it's never, ever worked. And I don't know why I haven't gone out to somebody and said, help me. Help me, I'm having a fucking problem. Help me, I need help. I've never been able to do that. And I don't know if that's a pride thing. And I don't know if that's a stubborn thing. But I know it's a problem. And I don't understand step 0 to step fucking 75. If there even is 75 steps to follow. You know, I'm not good at going from point A to point B to point C. You know, I've always been one to try to figure out an alternative route, to figure out what's best. You know, I've tried shortcuts in life. I've tried to band-aid problems to see if they'd fix it in the long term, but nothing's ever fucking worked that way. You know, I haven't seen a counselor about the life or guidance counselor about this. You know, I just recently talked to my parents about this, and, you know, I've talked to Hammerheads on the other side, and I think the one thing that, why I haven't really been reaching out to, you know, my parents or my loved ones about this is because it's the fear of disappointment, it's the fear of, I don't know, rejection. It's just how I think they would think about me. You know, if they knew that I had suicidal thoughts, if I had gone this deep into, you know, mental depression, if I felt this far gone. If I ever felt that far gone, you know, I've always had them to talk to. It's just that talking to your parents, even if you love them, you know, even if you have a strong connection with them, is always a difficult thing to do. Because they're there for you since day one. Or most parents are, at least. My parents are. My grandparents are, you know, my family is always there for me. And they're seemingly the hardest people to always talk to. And why they're hard to talk to is because of the fear of rejection, the fear of not knowing how they would react. You know, it's something that I shouldn't be afraid of, but it is. It's something that I get emotional about. Because I don't want to disappoint them. And I feel like if I go to them, I'll disappoint them. You know, I trust them and I love them with all my heart, but it's guilt, it's disappointment. And it's two things that I have the absolute worst time with coping with. And it's just not right. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. You know, I, I I don't know if I'm too hard on myself or what the fucking deal is, but it I guess it just doesn't make sense. Which is, you know, why I've reached out to Hammer Hazard in the past a lot. Because I trust him with my life, and he knows what goes on with me. He knows what's going on up here a lot. He's been it's not my thing to tell, but he's known the struggles of life and whatnot, and you know, it's something that I trust to talk to him about, which I love him like a fucking brother, you know, because of that. So life fucking sucks, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And it's really up to me to try to get better at life, try to find better solutions to my problems, try to find solutions to my problems. It's up to me to get happy, or at least to a point where I'm not, you know, feeling guilty, not feeling like I want to, you know, fucking kill myself for a stupid petty reason, like being guilty about something dumb, you know. And I overthink things. I really do overthink things, and it's not something that I should really do, because overthinking things gets me into a lot of trouble upstairs. And it's another one of the faults that I have, is that, you know, it's not necessarily the, oh my god, what if, it's the, how will, I guess that is a what if, but, not how will, but, it's there. It's hard to put into words. It's painful. It sucks. You know, I don't like having up and down days. You know, and I know it's a part of life that everybody goes through. You know, everybody has their good and bad days. Everybody has their good and bad moments. But on a personal level, I don't want good and bad days. I want good days. And I know sometimes that's just not possible, because I know that life will cave in on me at some points. But the more I can do to prevent that, the better off I think I'll feel. Which I don't know if it'll be easy, because nothing's really easy in this life now, is it?
Take care of yourself, okay?
Now, do I resent moving out? Let's just get that out of it's on the table. Yes and no. I think it showed me a lot of things that I wouldn't have understood otherwise. I think that was a good thing that I did experience this on my own. I think it showed me how tough life can be on your own, how big of a change it is from moving out of your parents' place. I kind of expected the change, you know, from having to be self-sufficient in life and whatnot, but I didn't expect, you know, to get fucked over mentally by it, to be drowning in life's facades. You know, I thought I'd be able to support myself, to be happy, you know, and this is not something that I am. And I think depression got worse when I moved out. And it could be because I'm on my own, I'm alone. It could be because I don't eat enough. It could be because I'm financially just not stable. And that's partly due to my job situation. Partly due to everything, all of life's expenses. Cost of living, gas, food, all that shit. It's just not what I expected. Let's just put it that way. It's tougher than I think what life needs to be. Especially living in, this part of the country where shit shouldn't be as expensive as it is. Where, it should be okay to be 20 years old or 21 years old living on your own. Because I moved out just after I turned 20. And I don't know if that was a problem or not, being so young, moving out, and whatnot. I don't know. It could have been, but who's to know? So, do I regret moving out? Yes. And it's because of what I stated. Do I wish I would have moved out? If I had advice for me back then to tell myself to move out or not to move out, I would have told myself don't do it. But you can't change the past. So if I was to give any advice to you guys right now, if you're out there still watching this video for whatever reason, make sure that you're grounded. Make sure that you're mentally okay upstairs. Make sure you know what you're doing in life, want to do in life. Make sure you have a stable job. Make sure you're able to take risks that you can take. Make sure you have someone to reach out to. The world on your own is a very brutal place. Not only physically, but emotionally and mentally. It will fuck you over if you're not prepared. And I certainly went in the deep end and ended up almost drowning. As for future streams and whatnot, guys, they're going to be postponed till future notice, as I said earlier in the video. I don't know if I'm going to be creating videos on the side. There might be one or two uploads every now and again. But as of now, it's not gonna be for a while. So thanks for watching, guys.